Hello and welcome to another episode of the Electric in Original. I'm Mats. And well, behind me we have a BYD sealion, which is another of the Sea Creature series of cars. So, well, it looks like a BYD. It's modern, it's fresh, it's cool. They even got their own design department. Look, this is of course loaned to me by Mobility in Halden. I have to say a big thank you to them. BYD sealion 7, 4.5 seconds. So it's not a slow car. It's not particularly sporty either. It's comfortable. It's relatively big, quite spacious even, I must say. Yes. Rise. Lots of space in the back here. The audio sound system sounds, so far I'm pleased with it anyway. There's plenty of space here. Oh, this is some hooks and stuff. And lots of space in the back. Cup holders. And a room here, heated seats, lots of space, big panel roof, plenty of space for my knees. I can sit quite comfortable here for a long time. Material quality, soft touch all the way down here. It's just softly padded. It's really well finished. The same goes for the front here. Alright, let's try again then. The camera insisted it had 1% when I started filming the go around, the walk around earlier, so, and then it didn't. Now it's at 99 when I get home and plugged it in, so I don't know. Sometimes this old GoPro camera is just difficult. It costs from around 50 to 60,000 euros. Has, well, this dual motor version has around 600 horses, 550 or something like that, and well over 600 Newton meters. But it doesn't really ever feel particularly quick. It doesn't feel slow, but it's not meant to be. It's a relatively big car. It's roomy. It has 580 liters of luggage space. Quite big, and it has a frunk as well. A nicely quite spacious frunk. Big, nice door pockets. Soft touch everywhere. Really, most of it in the interior, apart from the lower end of the door cards. Everything else is just softly padded, which is wonderful. Unlike so many other cars. A nicely tight turning circle. Everything soft kind of defines the entire car. It's not really meant to be hustled down the country road. You can try, but it doesn't really want to. And suspension is mostly comfortable. I say mostly because sometimes it does strange things. Like it just doesn't want to decide. It's comfortable. Oh, the new A6, look. But you know, sometimes over some undulations it feels a little bit unsettled. And then you have these beeps. They're very low now, but what they do is that when they beep at you, they basically take down the sound level of whatever you're doing, whatever podcast or media you're listening to. The level of the sound of that is lowered, and then it suddenly goes back up again. And the same thing goes if you're on a phone call, which is very frustrating. But it's very quiet in here. It's very quiet. It's very comfortable. It has like a 80 or a 90 kilowatt hour battery pack. It's a big battery pack. It's not the most energy efficient thing in the entire world. According to its own readout, it has had an average over the last 500 kilometers of 240 watt hours, which is kind of like what I get out of my old S, which is an old car now. But it has 92% battery, and it has an indicated 437 kilometers of range left. I think it's supposed to do well over 500. And I like the way it looks. Yes, the name is a bit daft, sealion and sealion and seagull and all this stuff. I know that it is, but it is a Chinese car, so they do these kind of things from time to time, I'm afraid. As for the assistance systems, well, they work, they beep at you. Apart from the lane keep, I haven't been able to become friends with that. Maybe because I'm incompetent, I don't know. But so far, it hasn't been very lane keepy, to put it like that. Adaptive cruise is well enough, because that's just an adaptive cruise. That does its thing after all. It has a head-up display, which is good, which I don't see with my sunglasses on, because they're Polaroids, so that's nice. But that's not unique for this car at all. But it's incredibly comfy, this thing. I like the interior. I like the surfaces. Oh, it's comfortable seats. That's a BYD thing, really. They do these kind of things just better and better. And it's spacious, like I can sit behind myself very easily. And with plenty of space for my head and my knees and everything. And you have a cup holders in the back, and you have heated rear seats and stuff. The infotainment system is fairly okay. You can use your the voice control to do a few things at least. And it guides you, and the mapping here works. If you're going to Berlin, for instance, you can tell it to do so with charging included, and it tells you how when you're going to arrive and with how much power and all that kind of stuff, which is nice. It also seems to have included Spotify and a few other things. And I, in general, like the BYD infotainment system. Unlike Mercedes, which can be very cluttered here with apps, this isn't. It's what you need, and then you can do a few. You can change some themes, and you can put it tell it to do some smart charging and stuff. But most of the time, it's just not very distracting. And down here you have your buttons for your climate on off, just simple easy things like that. Everything else you run through the screen. The front seats are heated and cooled. I don't think they have any massage in them, so well damped. Oh, and the buttons on the steering wheel and also the stalks, they're so nicely judged, nicely weighted, really nicely weighted and tactile to use. Because these buttons down here by the gear stick is just soft touch plasticky buttons on one big plastic surface that moves around, a bit like Audi has done it now on their door cards, which It's a bit simple and cheap, really. It looks a bit cheap and feels a bit cheap, but it works. And now also the adaptive cruise and also lane keep is, well, you can see here it tries to just do its job, but it doesn't do a particularly good one. It's perfectly alright, but you do have to monitor it. Of course, I can only adjust the speed by increments of 5 kilometers an hour, which means that if I wanted to, for instance, put it on 82 kilometers an hour, I can't really do that. Apart from accelerating up to it myself, which is somewhat frustrating. I've reset one of the energy counters, and it now says we're running on 179 watt hours, which, well, it isn't exactly great, is it? But still, it has a big battery, so with around 200 watt hours of average consumption, what you would do around 40 plus kilometers. So still not that bad. You only have one wireless car charger here, sadly, not two. The other one is kind of an NFC reader key card thing, also for the if you want to use your key if you want to use your phone as a key. This is a fast charger, though. It's a 50 watts charger with its own fan and everything, ventilation. So it doesn't it's not a phone heater, it's actually a phone charger. Definitely, it has a big sunroof as well. So, of course, unlike in the Model S, you can't open the glass roof, but this is definitely the kind of car I could imagine taking on a long road trip. It has an 800 volt system, so it charges quite quickly. Not so super duper quickly, but quite quick. Region could have been higher, I think, and stronger. It's on high now, and it's not very impressive. After all, it's perfectly alright, but it could have been better. But that's one of the few niggles I have with the car as well. That and the fact that the drivetrain sometimes, it's not shunting or anything, but it's kind of fine, on a very fine-tuned precision level of it. It is not quite there. It can sometimes fight itself in a way, which in a BMW or a Kia or a Tesla you will not find. But this is a detailed level of probably no one will ever really notice unless you go look for it. The same thing with the suspension. The motorway then. And it is a quiet car, this. It is a relatively windy day, at least it was earlier today. Not much noise here. A little bit of tire noise, but fairly quiet. And it is comfy, and it is seriously, it is quick. I floored it at a clear stretch of road here earlier, and just let it run, and well, yeah, you have plenty of power in this thing. Of course, it's relatively softly sprung, so it's not a sports car, but the power is there, and it's nicely delivered as well. It's not instantaneous. It's kind of linear and slightly soft, which suits the car. I don't know if these wipers have an auto function or not, and I'm not entirely certain. Either way, they do a good job. The sound system, I can't make my mind up on that. It's not bad at all. Sometimes it struggles to play, if you want to play properly loud. It can do it, and it's a little bit depending on what kind of music you put on, I guess. But sure, for most people, for most users, it's quite good. Well, to sum it up, this is a brand new Chinese car, and the niggles you had with Chinese cars 2 or 3 years ago, the beeping and the bad road manners and stuff, and the slightly useless lane assist and all that, is mostly gone. It beeps at you, but not more than any other car beeps at you. In fact, in some ways it's better, and most of it you can easily turn off. The screen is big, it's very easy to use for the most part. There's a few niggles here and there, but they're mostly just me personally. But there's very little to do with the car. The infotainment system is easy enough to find your way around. You have a pull down menu where most of your usual things are. Yes, there could have been a few more buttons for the heated seats and stuff, but it is what it is. The rest, this is a very traditional car in other ways. You have your stalks, you have your buttons on the steering wheel. You have a small bank of buttons down by the gas selector. It's spacious, the surfaces in the interior are great. It is actually one of very, very few cars I would consider if I wouldn't buy a new Model Y. It's very quiet in here. It's very comfortable. It's an 800 volt system and it's a BYD, so I'm sure it charges pretty quickly. And it's really, really comfortable. It's really quiet in here. It's powerful. It's spacious. It has a trunk. There's really no... And for the money, I struggle to find faults with this car. I really do. It's fairly economical. Could have been a little bit more economical, but it doesn't really matter because it has a 400 kilometers of range easily, and it probably charges so quick that it doesn't really matter anyway. So the BYD sealiion 7, it's definitely worth looking at. And it is one of the best cars I've driven so far this year, and in its class anyway. So there you have it. I'd appreciate a subscription and a thumbs up, of course, if you think this video warrants that. But either way, thank you for watching, take care, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.